You're watching a recap from Investor XP, the show that covers investing for gamers. Check out the video description for details. It is Wednesday, May 17th, and we've got a great show for you today. Here's what we've got coming up if you're watching live. Talking about Wall Street, the stock market is absolutely collapsing today. Could be a perfect day to make money, to be honest with you. Apple's got some new laptops coming up. Witcher is coming out on Netflix. Amazon TV launching, and we're going to be talking Sega. So that's what we got coming up for those of you watching live. If you're watching a recap video, those are going to be the individual stories that we post today. So let's go ahead and let's jump right in. It may be time to invest in Sega. So, Sega has been around for years and years and years, and now may be the time to get in as Sega comes back to life and becomes a presence in the gaming industry. They recently announced a new Sonic game with a customizable character. Looks pretty cool, okay? And this is what got me looking back at Sega's stock, to be honest with you. Sega hasn't been something I've looked at a whole lot. I kind of wrote them off as, they lost the console war years ago. They kind of stuck around as a software company, and, that's that. They're kind of out there. They really haven't developed a whole lot of great stuff. But this caught my eye and started getting me looking back at Sega here. So Sonic Force is what you create your own playable character. And you can be a wolf, rabbit, cat, dog, etc. And you can change what gear you have to customize them. And the game, it looks pretty cool. It's coming out for the Switch, and there's a throwback 2D mode and a 3D mode, and looks pretty interesting. So that got me to look over at Sega stock, which Sega stock is not too bad. It's $3.15 for the ADR. They do pay a decent dividend yield of 2.7%, and Sega has been amassing some cash to stay alive. So if you look at their statistics here, they've had some year-over-year growth. All of a sudden they're snapping back, 121% year-over-year growth. And the big one that caught me was they've now amassed $1.8 billion in cash, and they only have $900 million in debt. So they've got some cash to stay alive. They're paying a dividend, and they've got some year-over-year growth, and their price to earnings is $9. So nine times earnings, which is extremely cheap for stock. So this really started getting my interest up looking at Sega. So we're going to go over and check out what their investor relations has and what we can look through. I'll put the link in the article. One of the big things that they've got is they laid out their plan for that they called it the Road to 2020, and it is a very aggressive plan to get Sega back in the game, in the gaming industry too, in a big way. So if you look through this, and again, the link is going to be in the description. All the articles we put them in the description here. Breaks out their business unit, and it goes plan on what they're going to do. They've profit is on a recovery trend, so they've done some restructuring to get their profits up, which again they've got their cash pile that they're growing, so that's good. And here it is, their road of what they want to do. I want to just highlight a couple of interesting things. They have some, they want to get the titles that'll be global hits. So there's some generic things like that they talk about. But you can see in their price targets, they really want to grow their gaming, their digital and packaged game. They want to grow that in a big way and make it a very large portion of what they offer, and get a higher margin off of that type of business. So they lay all of that out, and each business segment, they have their own little strategy of what they're going to do. They do other things with resorts and stuff like that, which is all going to be good business to add to their bottom line. And they want to get new IPs going to maximize their profits here. They want to revitalize a lot of their old IPs and create new ones and get them out there to as many consoles as they can, and grow what they have. So some of their big IPs that they have is Fantasy Star, Sonic. They have some other ones that are okay. You know, they got their Football Manager, which is big in a global sense. Sonic is a big one. Company of Heroes could be an okay game, but I'm interested in what new IPs they have that they're going to come out with. So, real aggressive strategy by Sega to get back into the game. With the price of their stock, I don't think you could go wrong at this point. Couple other things. If you look, and Sega really, they took a left turn a couple of too many times, and that's what crushed them out of the console war. They were right up there with, look at their history of their consoles here. Sega Genesis was a very big hit. The problem is, post Super Nintendo, and there was always debate which was better, Super Nintendo and Genesis. The answer is the Super Nintendo, for all of you people that had that argument. But Sega's first left turn that they made when they should have went right was they started stacking stuff on the Genesis. They came up with the CD-ROM attachment and then the 32X attachment, which you would think people looked at this and they said, okay, I could use my old console and I get these great games. It didn't click for them, and there was better things out there. So they never sold well. And then they released the Saturn at the wrong time. Saturn was a great gaming system. And then they came out with the ultimate gaming system. You know, the PlayStation outsold the Saturn and stuff like that. So it was the wrong timing. So then they said, all right, we're going to build the best console there is. And they went with the Dreamcast, which the Dreamcast absolutely mopped the floor with the PlayStation 2. The Dreamcast was an absolutely amazing machine, but it didn't go with the DVD. Was the wrong step. It didn't go with the DVD. It went with some GD-ROM disc. No DVD player, killed it. I mean, to this day, people, you'll find Dreamcast games and stuff out there. It was the system that you could connect to the internet and play people online out of the box and stuff like that. It was ahead of its time. Very, very powerful machine. It didn't have the DVD support, so it lost out to the PlayStation 2, and after that they just said enough is enough. And they kind of retreated away, Sega did, and they just developed software and they did their other business out there, but they've got some potential for as cheap as they are in the yield that they pay on their dividend, and they are clearly a company that is a survivor. They're going to have another chance to bounce back. Upcoming Sega games, not a lot right now. Not a lot. Let's pull this up here. They got the Yakuza series, Total Warhammer 2, and the new Sonic. So nothing to write home about yet, and I stress yet. They recently bought Amplitude Studios. They make some very unique games. Nothing earth shattering yet. Nothing, game of the year. But it is a very interesting studio with what they're developing. So, okay, so you can get a glimpse at some unique games that they have here. Interested to see what they do with this studio. And they own Atlas, too, which is the maker of the greatest board RPG game ever, which is Dokapon Kingdom. And no one can dispute that fact. It is 100% fact. They re-released this thing on the Nintendo Switch. I'll buy a million copies myself. It is that much fun. If you've never played this game, play this game. It is a blast. It is a riot. Play it with the kids. Played it with my brothers, and it was really cutthroat with them. So adults can play with each other and get obnoxious. You can play with your kids, and it's a very fun game. So they've got some potential there. Sega does. Just reviving Sonic, that'll get them somewhere. Some new titles, a revamped Golden Axe. Couple of things start stringing together for Sega. I could see their stock making a pretty big move. They're going to support the Switch in a big way. Could be lots of sales to be had there if they're one of the people that take off with the Switch on the ground level. That's why we like Square Enix, because we think they're going to benefit from the Switch greatly. Let me know what you think about Sega. I am putting them on my buy list. We could be adding some Sega sometime this month. I think they're going to be added to the buy list, definitely. Not speculate. We're going to buy them. I think taking a small position in Sega, dividend yield that they've got, they're striving to maintain that. It's a no-brainer, and the upside could be huge for this company if they get some of these franchises going. They're getting some younger studios in there. I like what I see with Sega, so it's a buy for me. Let me know what you think. Is Sega a buy for you? That's it for Investors XP today. Thank you for watching. We appreciate all the subs we've been getting lately. We tipped over the 100 mark. Love it. So leave your comments. Love hearing the comments that people have and their picks on their stocks. We've gotten some really good viewer picks. So please, I want to see more of them and more comments on your investment styles for new investors to check out. Really want to hear that. So thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow.